just fight and aggression from the team tonight?
Yeah, I really thought from the start, after the first time out, I guess the first minute and a half I wasn't too happy. We came out a little sluggish, and we talked about our transition defense, but I think we picked it up from that moment forward. Understood the urgency of the moment, and I think the guys responded. I'm proud of them. They deserve this win. They've been working for it. We've been right there, and so good team win, overall win. You can't ask for a better team win when you look at the stat sheet, and to have 8 guys in double figures and just to share the wealth and not really care who gets the credit, that's the goal.
And the job you guys did on the glass, I mean, 19 offensive rebounds, only holding them to 4 offensive rebounds. I know you kind of talked about that, especially with Eve hitting the glass.
Yeah, it was great.
Defensive rebounds. Just what do you think overall of the job rebound?
I thought he was amazing, just the way he impacted the game on both ends, even defensively, challenging shots at the rim. We were switching a lot tonight, so for him to just sit down and guard, but the offensive boards were impressive, just to go get those, the amount he went, the effort he did it with, the focus he did it with, that's what we need every night from him. And Sadiq, I think, had, 14 as well, or 13 and 14? Jose chipped in with some, 8. I didn't expect that one. I don't think any of us saw 8, rebounds from Jose, but give Eve a lot of credit. That's the kid we know and love, and really proud of him.
This person, what did it mean for you to get this first win as a coach?
Well, just it's tough to win in the league, and when losses pile up, it weighs on you, it wears on you, mentally, physically. You could feel the weight on our team, and I'm just happy for the guys. They deserve it. They've been working, they've been wanting this, they've been playing their tails off, and I'm more excited for them, and I'm happy that we can build on this now. I think we saw a lot of growth there. We've seen a lot of growth, I'd say, the last couple of games. We just haven't been able to get over the top. So for us to close it out tonight, really proud of the group.
In the third quarter, you switched to starting lineup up from the beginning of the game. Was that just to try to mix things up and get a better third quarter going there?
Really, that's what it was. Let's get off to a better start in the third. I thought Jose and Eve had some juice in the first half, and I was going to roll with it into the second half. And those guys responded. I think we only lost I think we had the quarter won, and then Jose had the foul. We'll make sure to talk through that one tomorrow. But I thought we had a good third quarter. There was a response there. They made shots early. They hit the first 3. And in my mind, here we go again. But there was a response by that group, and I thought we had a good third quarter.
A few games ago, you brought up Eve's name as a guy that you kind of were saying, hey, we need more. We want to see you hit the boards more. What's it like just kind of seeing him respond the way he did in this game?
He responded, I believe it was the Denver game, if I remember correctly. It was that Denver game. He was super active on the glass, attacked the glass. And then I felt the next game a little bit of he relaxed maybe a count. But the kid is dynamic on the glass. This is what he can be for us, active, energetic, rim protector, and he set some great screens for us too offensively. It wasn't just the board tonight. He got us open a lot, had some rim reads down there as well. So overall, I think a very mature step in the right direction game for Eve.
And what have you kind of seen from Zion as he's kind of finding his rhythm, figuring out where he kind of fits in with this group, ends up with a tying his season high tonight? Just what did you kind of see from him, not just in this game, but the past few games he's been in, just trying to find his way?
Well, he was out for, I don't remember the exact amount of games. He was out for a bit, though, trying to find his rhythm with his team again. It's a new team for him as well. So we're all trying to play and figure this out together. But I love his aggression. I thought he played with great spirit and fight. I felt him leading the group. He's talking, he's communicating, and that's what you need out of your best player, someone that can fight and communicate and bring energy every day. He's a winner, and so I was really proud of his response there tonight. He's a willing passer when he needs to pass. And I liked his defense too. I know they're a tough cover, but Z sat down and guarded multiple times tonight, especially against the switching. So really proud of his effort as well.
You guys are up 8 with about a minute and a half to go. You guys decide to go small there. No traditional bigs on the court. Just what went into that process?
Well, they were trapping us. They were pressing us, and I'm not sure we've gone through a press yet. Maybe we need to do that tomorrow. But it was really just about getting a second pair of, a second ball handler on the floor That was my main concern, because it was more of a possession game at that point, that the way they could have got back in the game was to, turn us over and score. But, I wanted Fears and Jose out there together. I trusted Z to be the hub for us at that time. Obviously, I didn't want to take Eve out of the game, but I thought the moment said we need 2 ball handlers on the floor to get us through that.
And you mentioned tomorrow, are you excited to do your second practice with this group?
Yeah, I know. Hopefully, we can get a little work, watch a little film. There's a lot to learn here too. I mean, the good part is we've been talking a lot about transition defense. We just got a full lesson in it. We basically had a full practice of transition defense. So there's going to be a lot of film to watch and discover. Transition defense, one of those things that you can't script. It's just, you have to go do it, And I think coming out of this game, we have a lot of film and footage and reps at getting back in transition. They really tested us there. So that'll be part of it. And then obviously we still got a lot to clean up and work on, but it does help having a win.
It felt like every timeout you took tonight, it stopped, halted basically the Bulls' momentum. Was that the strategy? Just not to do your part, stop it at any cost?
I think that's one of the things you control as a coach, just some momentum shifts. You feel, I wish I had a couple more, I could have used a few more tonight, but I'd rather go home with no timeouts and making sure my group is, stop the bleeding, help them. And I think to your point, I think they responded. Every time we called timeout, we executed out of the timeout, got a good look, kind of rallied against their push. So great execution there in the timeouts. There was a lot of communication as well. I think we're getting a lot more done, I feel, in the huddles. And it's not just the offensive set or the ATO we're drawing. It's really about how do we do this defensively? There's a lot of talk going on defensively in those moments. So, yeah, hopefully we help them a little bit, during those timeouts tonight.
We've talked a lot about the role players, certain nights like Micah, you name it. Really everybody on the bench contributed tonight. But talk about Bryce tonight. He really, in that second quarter, looked like just made all the right plays for you.
He did. He made great plays, mature plays, attack the rim. I love his aggression to the rim. He had some defensive plays as well, some rebounds as well. He was active tonight, and it feels like every time we've put him on the floor, he's responded. I can't think of one game where, he wasn't ready for the moment. Peavy was massive again tonight. I mean, he stepped up. Those 2 kids deserve a lot of credit. We don't get this game done without them. So, and we need that, especially with Herb out. But again, these are great reps for a Micah right now, great reps for a Bryce with Herb being out. This is your moment, and both those guys stepped up.
I know these guys are different players, so speaking of Micah and Bryce, but the year you guys won 49, you also had powerful dynamic wings coming off the bench, Najee, Dyson,
Yeah.
Traeger. That combination, do you feel like you can maybe replicate some of that just success you find in those bench units where you turn over other teams over and play in transition a lot? You get high quality looks just because of how you're playing defensively with wings out there.
We do need that. I mean, to be a average or above average defense, you need wings with size and physicality in this league. You can just see it out there. You have to have that, or else you're going to bleed points at the rim. The ball's going to be downhill. And Peavy and Bryce both provide that. Obviously, watching Herb is, a big part. But, to your point, that team 2 years ago, that was really the strength of our team, was the depth and the physicality of a Najee, Dyson. You can throw even a Larry. There was a physicality to that group. We're looking for that. I think tonight we saw some moments of that. Peavy needs to be that for us. Ultimately, he needs to be that, and he can. We need someone else other than Herb to match that physicality and get to the challenge. So, yeah, I think both guys had really good minutes out there tonight.
I think you mentioned you were glad for the guys to end the skid. How was it affecting you in the last 5 games, and how do you feel about, emphatically ending it?
Well, these are challenging moments for us as a group. This group's been through a lot over the last 12-plus months. Losing last year took a toll on many of us, and mostly the players. It's tough. And then to get off to the start we did this year, it's a challenge. It's a mental challenge, spiritual challenge more than anything right now for our group. And so You just want some validation. For me, just some validation that, guys, you're doing great, you're doing well, you're making progress, but it's hard to say that when you're not getting wins. It's hard to get up in the next day and go back to work without the win. You need some validation as a human being. That's what tonight was about for me. A little validation of their work, their commitment, their energy, their care for one another, and I felt that with them in the locker room tonight.